How'd Luck do on that math test?
Let's see, he got an A+.
He did?
He set the curve. Miss Orkowitz gave him 3 gold stars.
So another lesson here is that pirates are great at math?
Every time I think I've learned the least useful lesson in the world, life somehow manages to top itself. Ozy, do you remember the old days? Days when life was so much simpler. Values were the center of our existence. Life revolved not around crass materialism, but around the simple, honest joy of living.
We're 8 years old.
Shh, I'm busy pining for my lost youth. Millie, I've told you about Xeroxing your face onto my legal briefs. Why do you automatically assume it was me? Look at this. I mean, look at this. Nobody in the world seems to know how to use apostrophes anymore. Correct English seems to have become entirely optional. Sloppy language is a symptom and a cause of sloppy thinking. Sometimes I fear for the intellectual future of our culture. Yeah? I'm sure the starving kids in Somalia are losing tons of sleep. My attempt to get you to eat your peace by instilling global perspective is going to haunt me forever, isn't it? A grocery line. A child. There's inherent peril here. They always put gum and candy right at eye level for kids. Marketing to young, unsophisticated minds is unconscionable. At least so far Millie hasn't asked for anything. What's she looking at? Magazines? 10 sure ways to drive him wild and be here, kiddo, have some gum. Felicia asked my advice on something today.
I assume you're having someone analyze the chemical makeup of the cafeteria food. Incidentally, you don't want to know what they're claiming is Jell-O. You mean Felicia acknowledged your existence without making fun of you?
Yeah. It was during recess. Hey, Millie, I need you to, help me with something. Course, I'd, never ask you normally. I mean, no offense, but I'm cruel. You're not. You know, oh my gosh. Also, I'll totally give you $5 not to tell anyone I'm talking to you, okay? Does what you need help with have anything to do with not being grossly insulting?
You mean Felicia acknowledged your existence without making fun of you?
Yeah. It was during recess. Hey, Millie, I need you to, help me with something. Course, I'd, never ask you normally. I mean, no offense, but I'm cruel. You're not. You know, oh my gosh. Also, look at this. I mean, look at this. Nobody in the world seems to know how to use apostrophes anymore. Correct English seems to have become entirely optional. Sloppy language is a symptom and a cause of sloppy thinking. Sometimes I fear for the intellectual future of our culture. Yeah? I'm sure the starving kids in Somalia are losing tons of sleep.
Felicia Lane. Felicia? Not me. I mean, who? I mean, what about her? Does he know? I've taken every precaution. I've covered my tracks every inch of the way. What could he have noticed? You've written her name on every inch too of your binder. Drat. So it's true. The most brilliant criminal scheme nevertheless contains one tiny, but potentially fatal, flaw. Listen, I do sympathize. It can't be easy having a crush on somebody who's, well, cooler than you. Yeah, but... See, that was the old system. In the information age, brute strength is no longer a superior gene. Geeks now have genetic superiority. Logically I, like Paul Allen, have a right to date cool girls. Behold, my friend. The alpha male of the new era. Don't worry, though. You're on my good side. I'll see that you're protected. Say I don't know. What do you think? I think love is a brutal fiefdom we enter at our own peril. Well, knowing the cost but also the reward. It's an inward, unguided quest, an odyssey of uncertain direction, but leading into the gaping maw of fate. I'm being incoherent, aren't I? No, that was fabulous. Anyway, I couldn't help doing something. I'm tired of jocks having all the social advantages. It's my turn. So I slipped Felicia an anonymous note. I kept it simple, just those 3 magical words that capture what makes me special.
Inevitable obscene wealth.
Ow. Today on Wild Kingdom Courtship Rituals from Outer Space.
NNGH. You saved this from last week's biology lab, didn't you?
Dad, love is complicated, isn't it?
Why, son, I'm surprised to hear you speak of love.
It's not me. It's a friend of mine.
Of Kals, of course. Still, it reminds me of a helpful anecdote.
Rapture.
The year was. Let's see, they all tend to blend together. I think it may have has a 2 in it.
Anyway, my friend has a crush on someone unattainable.
Reminiscent, actually, of an early love of my own. In a time and space across the decades and the Atlantic. I gazed at her from the street corners of my youth. She was a daughter of nobility. In a class-conscious age, I feared she was destined to marry an uninteresting upper-class sort. Not that I wasn't going to make an effort. Alas, outside the realm of fairy tales, young infatuation is too often undone by the unanticipated. Complication. Chew. Hay fever, in my case. Here.
I imagine other dads tell stories about college football.
So never bring a girl charred black stalks. It's a very embarrassing faux pas. Of course, that anecdote is useful to you only in an abstract, koan-esque sense.
I keep telling you it isn't me with the crush.
Well, either way, we just may have something more useful around here somewhere. Wisdom, son, may simply lie in knowing that not all questions require concrete answers.
The Big Book of Ancient, Semi-Coherent Wisdom.
The bloopers of Lao Tzu section alone is worth the cover price.
Hi, Avery.
Hi, Multi. What are you doing?
I'm being cool.
Tim, you could not be more staggeringly wrong.
Also, I'm wearing the last of the Kool-Aid.
Hey, Pansy. I'm gonna kick your tail in PE.
Yes, well, we fashion the pot from clay, but it is the space inside that we use.
What?
Well, so far so good. Sigh, you promise not to tell anyone I'm pining, right? Of course. Those who say don't know. Those who know don't say. Said the large book of quotations.
I think the ancient philosophers were kind of like my mom that way.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's contestants. Ozy, you stand here. Millie, over here. Stefan, you're on the end. Today these 3 elementary school students will compete for riches on. Drum roll. Please, Tim. Who wants to be a 17-cent heir? Wait, what?
See, this is why I'll never abuse drugs. If you know Avery, it's redundant.
Avery, what? Humor me, guys. I'm practicing for a lucrative show business career.
Since when do you have any show business talent?
Can you tell me exactly how Regis Philbin originally got famous?
Okay, what are the rules?
Question 1, for 6 cents. Ozy, which of the following is not a U.S. state? A. Kansas. B. Oregon. C. Texas. D. Saturn. Ahem. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Stop being a mega goober, contestant number 1.
Why should he? It seems to fit the general theme.
All right. Millie, for 5 cents, name the president of China.
Isn't there some rule where I can call someone and get the answer?
That's right. Tim, phone please.
Apparently the answer is the cow says moo.
PSST, Avery. I think that answer might be wrong.
I think I might be too happy.
Eh?
Well, you always hear about famous people's troubled childhoods, and how triumphing over adversity paved the way for their later successes.
So?
So the worst thing you can say about my life is that my mom won't let me eat ice cream for dinner. I mean, I've grown up in the womb of suburbia. I always have clean sheets and clean overalls. I have you to hang out with. Fundamentally, my life is a piece of cake. The accident of my cushy upbringing may very well have cost me my shot at immortality. Darn it, why can't I be depressed?
I'm sure your biographers will at least describe your childhood as weird. As we move into the next round,
Ahem. I am the disembodied alien head of Karsang. Look upon me and weep for your lot. For I have evolved beyond my body. I'm ahead going into this round.
You really don't want 17 cents, do you? I'm going to have to take issue with the premise of that question, Regis. I mean Avery. See? Roswell was just a decoy for an even greater conspiracy. And its tentacles reach into such ostensibly marginal issues as this one. Like most things, it comes down to the fact that Windows is totally sucky. Contestant number 3, the answer is broccoli. But, see, it's all interconnected. Now we enter the final round of Who Wants to Be a 17-cent heir first.
Avery?
What is it, Tim?
I swallowed the 17 cents.
You what?
I'm not sure how it happened. I just put it in my mouth and,
Great.
Shall we just call this Who Wants to Waste 15 minutes of time that they will never get back?
Timothy swallowed the prize money. Aww. It's not so terrible. I'm sure this never happens to Regis. Yes, but on the other hand, you'll never have to deal with Kathy Lee Gifford first thing in the morning. Thanks. My pleasure.
Hey, Fairy, I'll let you off the hook if you can give me a good reason why I shouldn't pound you.
The master doesn't try to be powerful, thus he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power, thus he never has enough. I thought that was a good reason.
There are no good reasons why I should end up talking to your tail.
And yet another award for excellence in recess athletics goes to Jeremy Studley.
Life isn't fair, is it?
If life were fair, Miss Sorkowitz would think my mashed potato sculptures of her were brilliant.
Arg. What? These stickers they put on the tops of CD cases. They never peel off in fewer than 9 pieces. Well, we have more important concerns. Even as we speak, Microsoft, the company with its tentacle around all our ankles, is being cleaved in twain. We should all be at home glued to C-SPAN or something. This could rock the foundations of the world in which we live.
Hey guys.
Hey. Hi. Okay, the world in which some of us live. All that, and my CD still isn't open.
Hey, Ozy.
Have my dad and your mom left for coffee yet?
Yeah. What do you suppose they talk about?
I dunno. Grown-up things. The state of society. The news. The weather. Us.
You know, in my youth I cultivated the ability to spit coffee through my nose.
I'll do your next tax return for free if you don't show me. A dragon family reunion?
Indeed. I'm taking Ozzy to meet his extended family at last. The clan Llewellyn meets on a rather irregular schedule, and in rather far-flung places. On this occasion, my son and I shall journey to a sector of the globe forgotten by time, where old hatreds still seethe and old ways remain the stuff of routine.
Eastern Europe?
Idaho.
What do the other members of your family do, anyway?
Oh, they're in charge of various international conspiracies.
What do they really do?
I know. It sounds so implausible when Pat Robertson says it.
Do you guys have any tips on making a good first impression on my relatives? Wear something vaguely in style for a change. No offense.
Wear a bag on your head. That'd be funny.
Felicia. Duly noted and taken with the requisite huge grain of salt. Oops. I mean, wear wool. No, wait. Dad says I should at least get a haircut before the reunion.
I'll cut it for you.
Right. Haha.
Well, why not?
Because the last time I let you do that I wound up looking like a Taco Bell ad.
The artist always does a rough draft before the final masterpiece.
I'll go run some other errands and meet you back here in an hour.
Okay.
I see you've brought along that book of ancient wisdom. Just be careful. Even wise words can prove foolish if spoken at the wrong time. Wisdom must be understood in terms of the individual by whom it is given.
You gave it to me.
And surely you've noticed that a great deal of what I do is extremely strange.
So what'll it be today, kid? Oh. He who seeks everything must be willing to give everything up. Okay. Dad, I discovered a situation in which ancient wisdom is really stupid. I can't believe this happened to me. Again.
Actually, son, as unfortunate as this is for you, I think it can be used to our advantage.
Advantage?
It makes you look a bit like a dragon hatchling. Some of your relatives live in backward locales. I don't want there to be even the slightest possibility that someone might mistake you for an entree.
Now I'm really excited about going.
Oh, there's no real risk. I also started a rumor that I don't require you to bathe.
Hey, Ozy. I got you a going away present.
Thanks a lot. What?
Sorry. I'm just processing the idea that this stuff happens to you even without my directly causing it.
And so father and son set out for the wilds of Idaho, across the majestic Cascades, through the rolling hills of the Columbia Basin. Such splendor, to be truly appreciated, demands attentive silence and full sensory commitment. Unfortunately, I'm going on a trip. And I'm bringing asphyxiation, Bertolt Brecht, a centrifuge. Well, you know this isn't really what I think of when I hear Idaho.
Well, we've kept it from the tourists by distracting them with potatoes.
YAGH. Who are you? I haven't done anything yet. I was nowhere near that hippopotamus when I.
Alistair, it's us. I'm your cousin.
Oh, right, of course. Come on in.
Alistair thinks he's in charge of the drug conspiracy. We humor him. Actually, he delivers pizzas.
Hey, everyone. There's a big red lizard at the door.
I always forget how dull things are around here when Ozy's away. If Ozy's family reunion is anything like the one I had to go to last year, he's probably as bored right now as I am.
And then I said to Mal, look, eggplant head.
A 1. A 2. A 1, 2, 3, 4. I have I to watch as much TV as I want to. Yeah. I like having a messy ROOOOOM. I don't need Dino Betty email. Stop nagging me whoa. You can't make me stop throwing odd.
Millie.
What?
I thought you said we were going to get back to the roots of rock music.
We are. This is bold, primal, revolutionary. It cuts straight to what rock and roll is supposed to be about.
Annoying your mom.
I'll play La Cucaracha on your wine glasses if I want to.
Grandma Isabella, Dad says you're in charge of the
mainstream liberal news media conspiracy.
Wow, for real?
Thing is, my boy, I'm kind of obsolete now. The papers are all owned by big companies these days. Back in my time, newspapers had a heavy political slant, but these days it's all about money, scandals and sound bites and celebrities. They wouldn't go after Reagan even when I asked nicely.
Gosh, I'm sorry.
Well, I get my revenge by making them run really lame comic strips.
I can't take this anymore. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call Felicia and ask her to be my girlfriend.
Wouldn't it be less painful and equally productive to just stick your head in a trash compactor?
Look, are you going to give me moral support, or am I going to have to cover my ears and go la la la?
Hello?
Hi, Felicia. This is Stefan. From school.
Listen, I was wondering if you'd, go with me. NNGH. Oh, I get it. You'd prefer one of those NSYNC booger heads, wouldn't you? You'd prefer what? Come on, you wouldn't really prefer that. You'd have to fumigate your whole house. Felicia rejected me.
Look, Stefan. What exactly is the point of going together at this age? Neither of you has much money. And we're all 6 years away from being able to drive. So basically, if you were going with Felicia, it'd be less a relationship than the stuff of cheap status and gossip among kids with nothing better to talk about.
Which is why it'd be great practice for my future celebrity.
I wish Ozy would hurry up and come back. So yeah, Stefan tried to ask Felicia out, with predictable results. I feel bad for Stefan, I guess, but it's just as well. I mean, Stefan and Felicia? That's just a bit too surreal, isn't it?
Funny you should mention kid. Could you give me a hand fending off the giant asparagus army?
Hey, you must be Ozymandias. I'm your fourth cousin, Isolda.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You know I'm your fiancé, right? Alright, maybe we need to start this over.
Wait, did I accidentally eat one of Uncle Alistair's brownies? 11:24 a.m. A local new economy investor overhears.
I learned new stuff about the internet today.
Always eagerly watching for the next big .com vision, he gets on the phone.
It's the young who really have the most net savvy.
12:01. It becomes a circus.
We hear you're a visionary kid.
We want to help you put your new knowledge to work. Here's an investment to get your project started.
You mean a project like with scissors and instruction paper?
$12.03. The frenzy is overcome by market realism.
Kid, unless you can clearly demonstrate how you intend to produce a profit, we're not investing any more money.
Okay.
102. Life has returned to a vague approximation of normal. Tim, how could you afford this much candy?
I think it has something to do with instruction paper.
You're my fiancé?
Nobody's told you about this?
Evidently not.
Our great Aunt Tulip is a bit of a matchmaker.
Yeah, but...
From what I gather, she's very old-fashioned and our parents are afraid to cross her.
She wasn't the one eating a bus during the family barbecue, was she?
Right. Like I said.
Listen, it's about your kid.
What about him?
He's such an odd little creature. We have a serious doubts about him.
You have doubts? Tiberius, which conspiracy are you presently overseeing?
The UFO cover-up conspiracy, so?
So I hardly think you're in a position to doubt my son's dragon credentials. When your job is to conceal something that genuinely doesn't exist, and you discover a way to fail at it.
Okay, so I shouldn't have hired Bill Clinton's lawyers. Like you never screw up.
And Tulip, we need to discuss something.
Ah, yes. Is this about your son's arranged marriage?
Yes. I'd prefer to leave such matters up to him.
Nephew, it's the only way the strange little mammal you adopted will ever serve to advantage.
You greatly underestimate little Ozymandias, and Tulip. Dragon nor otherwise, he's a far more capable boy than you imagine.
Hey, do you think I could get out of the engagement by pretending to be dead?
Not if you keep insisting on talking.
Millie, remember when the Sunday funnies were worth looking forward to? When? Rather than just glorified colored daily strips sporting cheap gags, Sunday comic were lush glimpses of a fantasy wonderland? When comic strips could stand as art rather than as soulless, Nicky-oriented marketing tools.
Not really, no.
Me either. I think my dad might be making stuff up again.
I see you're reading some ancient philosophy.
Well, I have been. Dad gave me this book, but so far all it's done is get me beaten up and get me a really bad haircut.
Well, maybe I can help. I've studied this stuff too. And I think if you use it properly you might even convince Aunt Tulip to let you plan your own life.
Wow. Well, thanks.
No problem. You think I want to marry a kid who looks like some sort of bug?
I suppose I need to remember that words themselves are not wisdom.
Right. Words are just a working definition. Use them but don't take them too seriously. The point of Zen is to confuse the intellect into seeing the futility of concrete ideas.
I thought that was the point of George W. Bush.
Ah, George. We all envy his advanced state of not knowing.
So how's this going to help us get out of our engagement?
Well, today's the Family House Rules Parchesi tournament.
Right. So
we'll take this opportunity to kick some Zen butt.
Zen butt?
Okay, so I'm not totally serene quite yet. No, Ozy, House Rules Parchesi is absolutely nothing like Calvin Ball. Now, you have 7 blorms, and you have to move your roll of duct tape around the giant ceramic hippo.
Wait. Why am I trying to move my roll of duct tape toward the goal? Wouldn't it be much more serene of me to simply accept its current location instead of clinging to the idea of a goal? Did I win, or am I being rewarded for not winning?
I don't think they really know. We'll be fine if you just keep smiling and nodding. Ozymandias, Isolde, there's still the matter of your engagement. I have the papers here.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me, Aunt Tulip.
Spoken like a true dragon.
And you eat these chili peppers on cereal?
Hey, Stefan. I came over to see if the whole Felicia situation is still tormenting you.
Well, yeah, it is. But I've discovered a great distraction: internet comic strips.
Internet comic strips?
While the big newspaper syndicates are offering up the same old boring stuff, a revolution in cartoon humor is taking place in cyberspace. SNRRK, ha 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 ha. Look at this one. See, this guy works for a tech support helpline. And he's talking to a caller who, get this, doesn't know the difference between Linux and Unix. Hee hee hey hey. It's so true. People who aren't computer geeks are such a bunch of idiots. You know, violence is the final refuge of the computer illiterate. Listen, his Parchesi performance notwithstanding, some of us still harbor extreme doubts about the creature you call your son. Now if everyone, young Ozymandias is nothing but a small, ordinary fur-bearing mammal. Also, the Pope has been trying to plant lettuce in my navel.
You were saying?
Nothing. Obviously it's nonsense. Why would a dragon have a navel? Well, it was great meeting you, Isolde.
Hey, likewise. Come visit me sometime. It's cool meeting a mammal who doesn't think I'm a freak.
Hey, how could you possibly be any weirder than my best friend back home?
Well, for one thing, as we speak I'm conducting photosynthesis.
That differentiates you from Millie only in that you succeeded it.
Well, I'd call it an eminently successful reunion.
Absolutely. But there's one thing I still have to ask you.
You want to know which conspiracy I'm in charge of? Yes?
Yeah.
Actually, I've taken on a sort of parental conspiracy. I'm in charge of seeing to your education, even the accidental parts.
I guess the difference between you and most parents is you admit it.
Quite. Now, I'm going on a trip, and...
Hey, Avery, the saying is true. You can pick your nose, but you can't pick your relatives.
Tim, would you like me to demonstrate what you can do to your relatives? Crawling into Dad's bed is less comforting when he snores. That one looks like the looming specter of mortality. The unspoken terror that colors all aspects of life and yet, by completing the cycle, defines life.
Rorschach cloud watching.
That, or a daisy. Wow, cool. I wish I were old enough to buy a gun. Really? Not me. I don't like guns. So you're saying you support banning the sale of all guns? And going door to door confiscating guns people already have. What? I did say that. Sure you did. No, no. You've just fallen prey to a common and tragic affliction, two-tone perception disease. Americans are showing the ability to see any issue as anything but a clash of two extremes. Subtle grays don't register. So you're saying America is a lost cause and we should all be either practicing socialism or eating each other's livers out? I'll say yes on the condition that I get to stop talking to you now.
They were out of fruity blend ice cream, so I had to get chocolate.
So you're saying people who ordered chocolate first are mega goober heads from hell?
Ozy, do you ever wonder who they are?
Which they?
Oh, you know. As in they give out a lot of speeding tickets on the street. As in they make thumbtacks in all sorts of colors. I mean, what are we dealing with? Orwellian overseers? Internet age interconnectedness of institutions?
Useful flexible pronoun?
I hope not. Grammar is so totally lacking in drama and intrigue. Hey, Mom, who are they? Who? You know. They. I think you'll have to give me more to go on. If I knew who they were, I wouldn't have to ask. I'm not sure doing Abbott and Costello routines is in the parental job description. Mom. Every day you push me a little closer to total disillusionment. You know, when you think about it, we're uniquely positioned to crack this same mystery.
How so?
Well, Albert Einstein had a closet full of identical suits to avoid wasting brain energy on thinking about what to wear.
A familiar strategy.
Exactly. Quite possibly, you and I are geniuses in the Einstein mold.
Or, by the same reasoning, the Homer Simpson mold.
Even genius sometimes comes down to presentation. I think we should see if Felicia knows who they are.
Felicia? Why?
Because she's one of those kids who's universally regarded as popular despite the fact that everybody thinks she's a snob. So who is she popular with? It can only be them.
If they're friends of Felicica's, I'm not sure I want to find them.
Ozy, real courage means facing the truth even when it has NSYNC concert tickets. Hey, Felicia. Do you know who they are? No question. Someone got to her.
Uh-huh. The only possible explanation.
Well, I give up. I think the real nature of this they thing has eluded us. I don't have any idea who they.
They? Yes. My unsubtle cousin Bart created that conspiracy while maundering and plotting at Oxford. It was his senior thesis.
Wow. That would explain why they gave Christina Aguilera a Grammy.
Right. Bart got to see mine and sent a very stern look.
Ozy, do you ever wonder if we really exist?
The Descartes conundrum?
Yeah. Do you think just thinking proves existence?
I don't know. Do you suppose it matters?
Well, it's kind of a central question, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess you can either approach life as an unsolvable puzzle, or one adventure at a time.
I suppose you're right. Besides, if I didn't exist, my house would have a lot fewer silly putty sculptures.
Also, I'd probably be dry. Rain. Quencher of forest fires. Lifeblood of crops. Delayer of sporting events. It completes water's cyclical journey from ocean to atmosphere and back to Earth. The merest hint of it and we cancel our plans. As in, let's stay home, it looks like rain. Of course, for some of us it's just an excuse to dance naked in puddles.
You say that like it's a minor advantage. I've noticed kids don't tease you about being named Ozymandias J. well and much anymore.
Nah. That kind of went away when I started carrying this around.
A photo of Dick Butt Kiss.
Perspective is key.
Millie, did you break this? Before you punish me, bear in mind. You're going to remember this incident, right? Of course. Well, that gives me notoriety, and notoriety equals importance. It doesn't matter if what made you famous is degrading, repulsive, or even grossly illegal, you instantly win admirers. Be proud of me. Yeah, well. Just see if I share the cash advance from my tell-all book. Ozy, is there only one philosophy you try to live by?
I guess. I like to be able to go to bed every night knowing I haven't done anything to make the world any worse.
Yeah. Mine is always proactively untwist octagonal hippopotamus pants. I figure if my philosophy is total nonsense, I might get more leeway in my actions.
Say, what's all the ruckus across the street?
Oh, it's an anti-gay rally of some sort. You'd think people would have higher priorities than going out of their way to protest against someone else's civil rights.
Well, backlash is the oldest story in the world. It follows on the heels of any increase in tolerance. I've seen it before.
Okay, maybe we will go bother someone else.
In recent decades, one group after another has stood up for its members' basic rights, and one after another has dealt with backlash. Not so long ago, it was perfectly respectable to openly regard reptiles as inferior, much like those protesters outside. Many justified their prejudices by claiming to know the absolute truth. Mammal-reptile separation is part of God's plan. Truth is, of course, unchanging, and never looks stupid through the lens of history.
I have a cold.
Try leeches.
It's not socially acceptable anymore to discriminate against reptiles.
No, it isn't.
And nobody questioned my wanting to go to law school, despite my being female. We've come a long way.
We certainly have. Resistance aside, tolerance toward those who do us no harm marches on. Perhaps society is approaching a sort of austere maturity.
It's hey, where are you going?
To mess with those poopy heads outside.
Hey, Avery.
Timothy, be quiet. This is my favorite Kablamo Cola AD.
The man at the door said to ask.
Go away.
Do you feel brain control waves from that commercial going into your head, making you link meaningless slogans with happiness? And trust big profit-driven companies more than elected official or your own judgment?
No. Tim, go bother someone else.
My brother says he can't feel it.
Excellent. The evil mothership will be most pleased.
I don't see how this could be unclear to anyone. Says right here, God doesn't allow you to be gay.
I'll say. It's say who's that over there?
But I really like shrimp.
This is a lot less fun when it affects me.
Say, Mrs. Potwhistler?
Yes?
The dragon fellow over there has pointed out that it's biblically sanctioned to buy slaves from neighboring tribes. Now, I live down the block from you. Does your son know how to clean toilets?
Your dad actually got that throng of protesters to listen to him?
Well, he pointed out commandments that they themselves weren't obeying. But now he can't resist having some fun with them, and I think he's losing credibility.
I can't find this one in there anywhere.
Did they even have cream pies in biblical times?
Sir, I don't understand why you seem so determined to interfere with this demonstration. We're not here to enforce some arbitrary, mean-spirited code. These laws are ancient, and that's all there is to. Say, what does that sign say?
I believe this rule is in there somewhere, isn't it?
Somewhere toward the back.
See, son, I've come to believe that freedom should extend to the outermost limits of not harming others. If we want the right to live as we see fit, and not as someone else deems correct, we have to extend that right to everyone whatever we may think of them. Even the best of us must resist the urge to make our own petty prejudices into ultimate truth. An excuse for not being better than we are.
So what's with the chicken hat?
I theorize that you're more likely to remember things I say if I provide interesting visuals.
Kids, Mr. Johnson here is a podiatrist. Can you say podiatrist?
No,
Yay. Good. So, you're saying you think the media is delighting in your misfortune?
Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, welcome to the 2000 Milliocratic Convention. This year we've come up with a theme that our focus groups really liked and couldn't find anything wrong with. Vote for us because we're good. Over the next few days we'll be hammering that firmly into the ground over and over and over and.
Millie, real conventions only do that because they have to for TV audiences.
Hey, you're right. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
You have to admit, this would get better ratings.
Hey, look, a bug. I found this great big bug in my bed one time. That was completely disgusting. Bugs are so fragile. You poke them and they die, sometimes. Makes you wonder about your own ephemeral existence. Hey, that's a really pretty flower.
Attention deficit disorder. If you don't like the weather, wait 10 seconds.
I really like asparagus.
And in animated cartoons, they often save money by reusing backgrounds.
Do you suppose they ever do that in strip cartoons?
Not that I know of.
I'm a bit concerned, then.
Well, this is Seattle.
I am a visionary. I have seen things most people will never see.
Like what?
Well, like the other day I tried putting salad dressing on a Pop-Tart. I am a visionary. I have seen past the mundane details which snare others and peered at life's great truths.
Then I'll assume there's some reason you're standing in poison ivy.
Stupid distracting truths. I'm a visionary.
Yeah, well, how great a vision can it be if it's never had an initial public offering?
I hate the new economy. I'm a visionary.
Are you now? Well, then you have a hard road ahead of you. Most true visionaries meet with scorn, ridicule, and occasionally even violent opposition. Thankfully, some push on despite. As in the case of Vincent van Gogh, dying poor, obscure, and a victim of madness. Sometimes the vision is its own lonely reward.
I have money.